Hello, Chosen One. My name is Gabriel, and I am the leader of the Awakening of the Chosen. Today, I bring you a message that could unlock the power within you, a divine truth that many overlook, but was meant specifically for you. Have you ever felt a deep call, like a whisper from the universe, telling you that there's more to your journey? What I'm about to reveal will not only awaken your spirit, but give you the clarity and strength to walk the path you were destined for. Stay with me until the end, because this could be the moment your life changes forever. Let's begin. Reflecting on the power we carry within us is, without a doubt, a profound and transformative exercise. The idea that we have an intrinsic gift, a sharpness of speech that is capable of shaping the world around us, is both inspiring and a call to responsibility. When we think of our speech as a divine power, it becomes clear that it is not just a skill developed throughout our earthly lives. Rather, it is a gift from above, something given to us to use with intention and purpose. This makes me think about how often we underestimate the power of our words, how much they can build or destroy, depending on how we choose to use them. It's like carrying a sword that can either defend or attack, depending on the direction in which we point it. It is impressive to realize that, under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, our tongue transcends its ordinary function and becomes a true celestial weapon. For many, it may seem like an abstract concept, but when we delve deeper into spirituality, it becomes clear that the ability to influence and touch hearts through words is not something everyday. It is an extension of the divine plan for our journey. Versed in the teachings of Jesus, we are reminded that He, in His infinite wisdom, knew exactly when and how to use His words. Jesus not only spoke to be heard, but to bring about real and lasting transformation in the most hardened hearts. And that, in itself, is a powerful lesson for us. On several occasions in life, we encounter people who, even without being aware, are endowed with this transformative capacity. Maybe you know someone like this, or maybe you are the person who has this gift. The challenge is to bring this capacity into our conscious lives, so that each word is spoken with the correct intention, never to hurt, but always to heal. God, in His infinite grace, calls us to debunk the erroneous idea that being soft and meek is being weak. Indeed, there is tremendous strength in meekness, a strength that consumes, transforms, and ultimately redeems us. And when I look at such a vast spectrum of those watching us, ranging from young adults to the elderly, I am amazed to see how each generation can learn and apply this eternal truth in their life contexts. Each of us has the chance to embrace this power as an opportunity rather than a burden. Imagine how many lives can be touched, how many hearts can be warmed by the simple understanding that our speech can be an instrument of God at work in the world. Walking the path Jesus walked is being both gentle and firm, knowing when to offer comfort and when to lovingly confront error. This journey is an invitation to recognize the essence of power that lurks within us, and in doing so, live a life that truly reflects the glory of God. This requires courage, humility, and above all, a heart willing to follow the divine call. When we challenge the false dichotomy between meekness and weakness, we begin to realize that in true meekness lies the most sophisticated and sustaining power. We continue with conviction, certain that we can make a difference, as Jesus did, with words that edify and free. It is my hope that each of us can find strength and beauty in this gift and use it to do good and light the path of those around us. The duality between apparent meekness and inner power is a fascinating and profound topic. Logos, which resonates in many spiritual texts, it teaches us about the strength that often resides silently within us, ready to emerge when circumstances demand it. The essential learning here is that this strength is not aggressive or explosive, but is a calm, assured authority that reveals itself in times of true need. Many of us are under the impression that kindness is synonymous with weakness, but in fact, it can be a sign of tremendous strength. In our current world, where we are so often driven to react quickly and emotionally, being kind can require a stronger inner strength than raising your voice. It is a powerful reminder that true authority need not assert itself through brute force, but rather through quiet presence and influence. The way we use our words is fundamental in all aspects of our lives. The gift of speech is precious and has immense transformative potential when used correctly, but it also carries with it great responsibilities. This brings me, have you ever stopped to wonder why, despite all your achievements, it feels like something essential is still missing? My name is Gabriel, and I've helped countless people like you discover the true spiritual power that resides within them. And today, I want to help you. If you feel like life is passing by while something important remains out of place, maybe it's time for an awakening. My audiobook, The Path of the Chosen, was created precisely for those who have reached this point. In this audiobook, I guide you to feel that enthusiasm for living in alignment with what truly matters, knowing that every step has meaning. Together, we'll transform your fears, traumas, and frustrations into powerful strengths that propel you to a new level of growth. Leave behind the feeling of spiritual isolation and find the peace of a true, constant connection with a greater energy that has always been by your side. Instead of fighting against what you feel, you'll learn to find purpose, serenity, and self-discovery to fill your inner world. This could be the beginning of a fuller, more meaningful life. I've seen it happen for so many others, and now it's your turn. Don't let this opportunity slip by. Click on the link pinned in the first comment and begin this journey with the Path of the Chosen. This is your chance to fill what's missing and finally live the life you deserve. I'll be waiting for you there. This decision directly connects to our spiritual integrity. When we turn to the Holy Spirit for discernment, we begin to notice situations in which our words can serve a greater purpose, wisely deciding when to speak and when to remain silent. In times of injustice, it is our responsibility as spiritual and conscious beings to use our words to bring light and truth. This is where the silver tongue metaphor becomes significant. Like a double-edged sword, it can defend and attack, but it is vital that the heart that wields this tongue is aligned with principles of love and compassion. This requires a complete awareness of the effect of our words on the world around us. Self-control then becomes a key quality for those who wish to use words responsibly. Knowing when to intervene wisely and when to allow silent meekness to protect the moment is an art that many of us are still learning to master. For much of our audience, ranging from young adults to older adults, this lesson can come as a reminder that our words should be used to build bridges, not walls. When we internalize this wisdom, we realize that every conversation is an opportunity to express divine love and spread kindness. In our hearts, those who understand the power of the silver tongue seek to inspire and uplift those we meet on our path. In practice, this means that when we face challenges on a daily basis, we try to bring an energy that conveys peace and clarity, rather than discord or fear. This not only transforms us, but also has the potential to transform the environment around us and the people in it. Passing through the spiritual world teaches us that, to manifest this inner strength, it is necessary to act with intentionality and purpose, aligning thoughts, words, and actions in a harmonious way with divine teachings. In the end, the inner presence of the lion is a reminder of the power that lies dormant within us and that reveals itself in love, truth, and justice. The voice we choose to use must reflect this truth, with words that uplift and inspire those around us. It is a path of constant learning and personal development, always aimed at a better understanding of who we are and the impact we can have on the world. Reflection on the power of words and their ability to both create and destroy is a theme that resonates deeply in spirituality. All of us at some point have experienced the impact of words spoken without consideration and the mark they can leave. It's fascinating to think that the tongue, this small part of our body, can be capable of guiding both good and evil. James offers us a clear and vivid vision of the danger that an out-of-control tongue poses, warning us about the devastating consequences of careless and thoughtless communication. Every time we speak, we have in our hands a gift that can illuminate lives, but which also, if used irresponsibly, has the capacity to cause enormous harm. The gift of speech is something to be treated with almost sacred respect, an opportunity to connect, share, and build. However, the same power that can build is the one that can also hurt and destroy. It's like having in your hands an instrument of power that, without due awareness, can quickly become a dangerous weapon. As we navigate our spiritual journey, we are often reminded to examine our intentions. Pride can creep in, turning our gift into a tool of vanity and manipulation. Just like any other divine gift, the ability to speak requires constant self-examination and intentional alignment with principles of love and humility. This vigilance is essential for those who wish to use their words for a higher purpose. Communication occurs not only through what we say, but also through what we fail to say. Often, the absence of words is as powerful as their use. A word not spoken in love can be a shield against the harm that a word in retaliation would cause. We need to remember that our words carry within themselves the power of creation, and therefore, the responsibility we have is immense. Our words actually begin in our hearts, reflecting our thoughts, experiences, and emotional states. Therefore, transforming the interior is essential to transforming the exterior. The unpurified heart, where selfishness or anger resides, will inevitably give birth to words that reflect chaos and discord. Therefore, we all have the responsibility to be aware of what lives within us, cultivating pure intentions and seeking a sincerity that resonates in what we choose to express. For those who seek a life of peace and purpose, the path necessarily involves controlling the language. It is a reminder that silence can be as eloquent as speech, and that we must know how to choose when to use each of them. Doing so connects us more deeply to the cosmos and divine wisdom, which constantly invites us to use our gift to build and spread love. Using words to connect rather than divide is a noble goal and worthy of our daily attention and effort. Each day we are given the choice of how we will use this wonderful gift we have received, where each word is a seed planted in the soil of the hearts of those who hear us. It is our duty to ensure that they are seeds of hope, edification, and love. May we all continually strive to ensure that our words are a true expression of the divinity we seek to manifest in our lives, reflecting the best of who we are in the world. Discerning when and how to use our words is a rare and invaluable gift. This discernment is often mistakenly seen as hesitation or weakness, when in fact it is one of the purest forms of wisdom. In our society, where the temptation to react quickly is constant, stopping to consider whether our words are really necessary can be seen as an anomaly. But those who understand the true power of words know that more words don't always mean more impact. Jesus teaches us that the word needs to be used with intention and purpose. The way he approached situations was always considering the impact and needs of those around him. He knew well when a word could awaken a conscience and when silence was the best response. The illumination his words provided was not just a momentary spark, but a lasting light that transformed human understanding. When it comes to injustice and manipulation, acting with intelligence and compassion becomes imperative. We are often faced with situations where the initial impulse is to act, but without due reflection, we run the risk of making the situation worse. Courage, although indispensable, must always be accompanied by wisdom and understanding. Our intervention, when necessary, must be an ally of justice and love, offering healing and clarity rather than conflict. Language is a powerful bridge between each individual's inner world and the reality around them. With it, we have the power not only to communicate, but to connect. Words are means by which we can touch others in a way that transcends the physical. For this connection to be true and deep, our words need to reflect the divine will, aligning with love, truth, and compassion. This ability to discern and use our words in ways that align with divine purposes is not something that develops overnight. It is a continuous process of learning and adaptation, requiring us to be committed to understanding the nuances of the moment and open to letting ourselves be guided by a higher understanding. We are committed to seeking an understanding that allows us to intervene in a meaningful way, always respecting the right space and time to do so. Every interaction is an opportunity to use our gift of speech to enlighten and uplift, inspire and motivate, and it is up to us to ensure that our words leave a positive and lasting impact. This suggests a path of continuous personal and spiritual growth, where we are always open to learning and refining our communicative power. Ultimately, understanding the power of words confronts us with a responsibility. Every word we speak must be an extension of divine love, a ray of hope in the midst of confusion, and an anchor of peace in times of turmoil. By carefully considering when and how to speak, we participate in a subtle and constant movement toward a more humane and compassionate world. This is a journey we can all take. It begins within each of us and reverberates beyond, touching lives, healing hearts, and fostering a deeper, more fulfilling understanding of the true meaning of communication and connection. This is the power of the word when used in the highest alignment with the universal laws of love and truth. The dynamic between silence and action is a subtle dance that many of us seek to master throughout our spiritual lives. Biblical stories often show us Jesus as a master of this art, someone who knew exactly when to use his words to illuminate and when to let the power of silence speak for itself. Silence, often underestimated, is a powerful form of communication. It may seem, at first glance, like an absence of action, but it is actually a space where reflection and respect come to life. This deliberate choice to remain silent at certain times can be an act of supreme authority, where instead of reacting impulsively, we choose a calm presence that defies the conventions of the busy world in which we live. Our spiritual life, like our earthly interactions, requires a balance between the manifestation of the word and silent introspection. Just as a wise warrior does not raise his sword without considering the consequences, we too must consider when our words should be used as a tool to promote understanding and compassion. These battles we face, often internal and spiritual, require us to hone in on discernment and patience. Facing spiritual forces that go beyond our understanding requires us to be perceptive and cautious, trusting divine guidance to guide us. When we choose to speak, it is essential that our words are aligned with the divine purpose, always aiming for healing, reconciliation, and justice. The action of speaking then becomes an intentional choice and not an emotional reaction. This perspective elevates our use of the word from something mundane to a sacred experience. Looking to Jesus' own example offers us a model for how we can integrate this approach into our daily lives. Your ability to speak when necessary, remain silent when appropriate, and always act with love and truth is a reflection of the highest form of spiritual leadership. He teaches us that the true battle is not one fought with aggression, but one that is faced with courage and inner integrity. Being in tune with divine wisdom helps us know when our silence can impact more than 1,000 words. However, when circumstances require it, we need to be ready to raise our voice for justice, wielding our tongue like a spiritual sword. In this act of speech, we discover that we are not just acting on our own behalf, but allowing the voice of something greater to flow through us. This delicate balance between silence and action is something that constantly challenges us, inviting us to grow and evolve from our spiritual core. Maturity on our spiritual path is reflected in the ability to embrace both aspects with wisdom and grace. When we honor this balance, we become agents of positive change in our world, rising up as true warriors of the Spirit. The invitation here is to continue exploring and expanding our ability to discern the right moment, to align our intentions with divine will, and thus profoundly impact the reality of all we encounter on our sacred path. The spiritual journey of using powerful words. It is not always easy and is often full of challenges. We encounter people who are not ready to hear truths, and sometimes the clarity of our expressions can seem threatening to them. In a world accustomed to misunderstandings and misinformation, speaking truthfully and insightfully can be seen as an affront to the status quo. Those who resent the force of our words are often those who struggle with their own insecurities and fears. In the midst of this confrontation, it is vital to remember that Christ himself faced rejection and misunderstanding. His words, always focused on love and redemption, often found rocky soil in hardened hearts. Still, he persisted, knowing that the ultimate impact of his message transcended the immediate reactions and misunderstandings of the moment. The resistance we face can serve as a testament to the importance and power of our words. When we stand firm in integrity and truth, we provide opportunities for transformation, even in the most challenging circumstances. By touching lives through words, we participate in something bigger than ourselves. It is a reminder of the divine call that compels us to speak, even when the voices around us cry out for silence. The impact of our words is not just fleeting. It reverberates and creates waves in a space where there was often only desolation. Every word spoken with love and truth has the potential to divinely intervene in people's lives. These seeds of hope, when sown, find unsuspected paths to blossom and prosper. Recognizing this influence encourages us to not just speak up, but to speak with responsibility and purpose. The true calling is to bring light where there is darkness and peace where there is conflict. The beauty of this gift is its ability to transform despair into hope. When we witness the power of words, not only in our lives, but in those around us, we are constantly reminded of divine love and grace in action. We are more than just messengers. We are channels for a love that seeks to restore and reconcile. Remaining open to opportunities to speak up is essential, but we must also be mindful of how and when we exercise that power. It is important to remember that our words must always reflect the glorious power of God, never disconnecting us from the source from which they come, nor the purpose for which they were conceived. In the tumult of daily challenges, doubt can assail us, but we need to remember that our words, when aligned with divine love, become instruments of transformation and healing. We are called to be bearers of this light, to be used with intentionality and an open heart. Even when resistance seems insurmountable, we possess the inner strength to persevere and continue to light the way. This journey of using our words as instruments of divine power is an ongoing experience of growth and discovery. In every word and silence, we are experiencing a constant dance between the presence of now and the hope of what can be. And that is what makes our path a sacred and deeply meaningful mission. Awareness of the power of our gifts brings us an intrinsic and undeniable responsibility. When we recognize that our abilities, especially the gift of speech, have a powerful influence, there is a need to constantly align our intention and heart with these gifts. The temptation to use these skills in ways that do not reflect humility is a common pitfall that many stumble into if they are not deeply anchored in spiritual awareness. Remaining humble before the Creator requires a permanent recognition that what we have is borrowed, a gift that should be used for the greater good and not for personal gain. The example of King David is a sublime representation of vigilance in continuous prayer. David sought divine grace and wisdom to ensure that his intentions were always aligned with his highest purpose. This practice of constantly seeking a sincere heart is what helps us redirect our intentions when we begin to stray. The adversary is always lurking, waiting to distort our gifts and create division. However, our faithfulness in maintaining open communication with God through prayer is what strengthens our spiritual defenses. This divine connection holds the words we speak to the benevolent and eternal will of the Father. Guarding the gift of a pure silver tongue is a conscious choice that requires dedication and spiritual discipline. The ongoing search for God is a journey that enriches our lives and provides us with the insight we need to use our words in ways that resonate with life and truth. We feed our capacity for expression by immersing ourselves in the Scriptures, which illuminate our path and clarify our understanding. The Scriptures offer us a solid foundation, an anchorage when the waters of doubt try to lead us astray. They serve as a constant reminder of the need to surrender to divine guidance, allowing our communication to be a channel for positive influences. It is a commitment that never ends, a continuous process of growth and discovery. Spiritual discipline requires not just passive devotion, but also conscious and constant action to improve our relationship with God. It involves dedication, a willing heart, and an open mind to receive divine lessons and blessings. This practice transforms our everyday interactions, transcending banal conversations into meaningful encounters full of purpose and meaning. In all our interactions, we are called to express life and truth. This calling is a sacred responsibility that guides us to be intentional with our speech, always wanting our words to uplift, inspire, and promote growth. This highlights the importance of a life of continuous prayer and meditation, cultivating the stillness necessary to hear God's voice and allow His words to permeate our interactions. Humility is the key to keeping our lives aligned with the divine will. It reminds us of our position as servants, whose words must always reflect the love God has for His creations. In this spirit of service, we find a greater purpose that not only benefits us spiritually, but also blesses those around us. The challenge of guarding our gift with humility is constant, but as we cultivate a deeper relationship with God, we learn to navigate temptations with grace and wisdom. Scripture and spiritual practice become pillars on our journey, guiding us and keeping us centered on what really matters. Ultimately, the impact of our words should always glorify God, serving as a beacon of His infinite goodness and mercy.